Hello, good evening. It is 9 p.m. in Djibouti. It's time to English news, and for tonight headlines we have President Gele returns to Djibouti after participating in the 8th editions of the 2018 Islamic Finance Prize Award in Sarajevo. At the First Lady Initiative, UNFD organized a large march tribute to the young Mahado Dahar secretly assassinated in Addis Ababa. Concerning international scene, first removals of a rebel group after the Russia-Turkish agreement. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, returned today Sunday mid-afternoon to the country at the end of these participations in the work of the 8th edition of the Global Islamic Finance Award GIFA in Sarajevo, the capital of the Federal Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Global Islamic Finance Award is one of the most important institutions working to promote Islamic finance in the world, in addition to designing and adopting measures to strengthen Islamic finance. GIFA dedicates another aspect of its activity to awarding prizes to leaders, personality and institutions distinguished by positive actions for Islamic finance. President Guelleh is part of a select group of leaders who have already received the GIFA Head of State Award. It was in September 2017 that he received this award, and that he became the second African head of state to have this distinction. In addition to the award for the head of state, the GIFA also awards a dozen other distinctions and/or institutions and personalities note their actions in favor of Islamic finance. Among these recent awards of the GIFA, there is the one awarded each year for the best bankers of Islamic finance. The governor of the Central Bank of Djibouti, Mr. Ahmed Osman Ali, this year received the 2018 award for best bankers of Islamic finance. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, took part in this ceremony where the governors of the Central Bank of Djibouti received the 2018 award for Best Banker of Islamic Finance. The honor of the closing presentations of the trophy and prizes awarded this year by 2000 GIFA has also been granted to His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh. Djibouti Head of State Ismail Omar Guelleh released behind him Sarajevo in Bosnia, the Global Leadership Award in Islamic Finance Award GIFA 2018. The President Bahir Izetbegovic of the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Djibouti Head of State Ismail Omar Guelleh has been officially reappointed on Saturday, September 28th in Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina, to present the Global Islamic Finance Award on Saturday to the President of the Federations of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Mr. Bahir Izetbegovic. The ceremony took place this afternoon at the Hills Hotels in Sarajevo. Delegates, personalities and representatives of many countries and financial institutions working for the development of the good practices of Islamic finance. Just like Djibouti honored in 2017 in Astana by the organizers of the Global Leadership in Islamic Finances Award GIFA to Bosnia Herzegovina and its leaders, that this year 2018 the award in recognition of crucial structural reforms initiated in recent years with the modernizations and harmonizations of banking legislation and improvement of business climate. The head of state express on this occasion his warmest congratulations to His Excellency Bahir Izetbegovic, President of the Presidential College of Bosnia and Herzegovina, for the remarkable progress recorded by his country in order to participate stability to improve its attractiveness for investment and diversity its economy activity. Speaking to his Bosnian counterpart, President Guelleh said that these prizes awarded to him by the members of the award committee browns to the work done in favor of Islamic finance. Listen to the President of the Republic.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin my address by expressing our sincere thanks and our deep gratitude to the government and people of Bosnia and Herzegovina for all the arrangements made for the organization of the 8th Global Islamic Finance Awards. I would like also first to express my warmest congratulations to His Excellency Bakir Izetbegovic, President of the Presidential College of Bosnia and Herzegovina, for the remarkable progress made by his country in order to maintain stability, improve its attractiveness for investment, and diversify its economy. Your Excellency President Izetbegovic, today I am proud to present you with the prestigious Global Islamic Finance Awards in this beautiful city of Sarajevo, a martyr city a quarter of a century ago during the Balkan War. Today, Sarajevo is the best example of how to live together with various religions and linguistic communities. Mr. President, this award given to you by the members of the Awards Committee distinguishes the work done in favor of Islamic finance. It's also a stimulus that will, I am sure, contribute as it did for my country to the promotion and popularization of Islamic finance. Your country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, has initiated in recent years crucial structural reforms with the modernization and harmonization of its banking legislation and the improvement of the business climate. However, just like we had to, you need to invest heavily in public infrastructure to maintain the high levels of growth in order to reduce poverty and unemployment and provide better living conditions for your population. In an international context marked by the depletion of liquidity, Islamic finance is a real alternative and a complement to facilitate the mobilization of financial resources needed for financing major infrastructure projects and sustainable development. By way of illustration, let me give you a brief overview of the development of Islamic finance in my country. The financial sector of the Republic of Djibouti has experienced a rapid development since 2006 under the impetus of Islamic banks. The arrival of Islamic financial institutions in the banking landscape has increased competition in the market and diversified the supply of banking products and services. With a steadily increasing market share, 20%, and innovative products, Islamic banks have been able to attract a wider customer base and improve the indicators of financial inclusion. The prudent management of Islamic banks based on risk sharing and asset-backed financing has led conventional banks to continually innovate their product and service lines and improve their customer relationship. Thus, the financial sector, which relies on a stable and freely convertible currency, contributes to the financing of the economy, which has grown between 5 and 7% in recent years. Before I conclude, I would like to thank the organizers of GIFA and congratulate His Excellency Bakir Izetbegovic, President of the Presidential College of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and all the laureates of the year who have distinguished themselves by their work and achievements for the promotion and development of Islamic finance. I hope that this prestigious prize will be a powerful catalyst for the expansion of Islamic finance and in Bosnia and Herzegovina and in your respective countries. May God grant us His grace and blessing. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
On the sidelines of his visit to Sarajevo, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margelle, visited the village on Saturday, September 29, in the middle of the morning, where he was welcomed by the Mayor Abdullah Salaka. The head of state was immersed in the old buildings of the town hall, a historic place for this country, where the mayors presented the city and its rich heritage. The town hall museum is located in the basement of the Sarajevo City Hall, a building that is one of the recognizable symbol of the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina, a world symbol of the meeting of civilizations. The permanent exhibition of the museum traces the history of the renovation of the town hall for almost 2 decades. According to Abdullah As-Saraka explanations to President Gele, the town hall was inaugurated in 1896 during the Austro-Hungarian occupations of Sarajevo. Located at the intersections of the 3 main streets of Sarajevo, the town hall is a monument to multiculturalism of Bosnia. The building was used as a municipal court and parliament until in 1948. In 2003, the government of Sarajevo decided to the buildings house the headquarters of the city administration, as well as the National Library and University of Bosnia-Herzegovina. The pseudo-Moorish style was an Austro-Hungarian attempt to develop a Bosnian national style to showcase the Islamic heritage of Bosnia acquired for more than 400 years. Sarajevo's power of attraction is testified as a treasure trove of Ottomans, Austro-Hungarian and Bosnian national architecture. After his visit to the Town Hall Museum, the President of the Republic conducted a walking tours on the old city of Sarajevo, accompanied by the Mayor of the city and the Egyptian authority. President Gele visited the narrow center of the city. During his visit, he was briefed on various details concerning the constructions of the building, as well as other relevant historical data on this sacred monument that be witnesses to the extremely rich and diverse cultural heritage of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The historic center of the city houses a succession of small houses of Ottoman architecture, all converted into shops, coffee and restaurant, with a central square with the famous fountains called Sibilish. Sarajevo with an artisan shop, carpets, coffee cup and coffee makers, for example, but also mosque, including the Great Mosque. Before the wars, it was one of the most beautiful mosques in the Balkans, an architectural symbol of the Ottoman period. Many buildings are built next to the old Ottoman houses. As a continuity is one step, one moves from one empire to another in the same street, from an oriental influences to a classic European style. The head of the state had the opportunity to greet several tourists of Bosnians, pedestrians present on the spot. During this trip, the ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to Turkey, and the governors of the central bank accompanying the President of the Republic. For his part, the governors of the central bank, Ahmed Osmanis, and Djibouti's ambassador to Turkey accompanied the president during the trip to Bosnia to hand over the Islamic finance prize to the president of Bosnia-Herzegovina, Mr. Bahir Izetbegovic. A great figure of the political landscape of Djibouti comes to leave us in the persons of Ali Assowi Waisa Says Ali Aye, who has turned off this afternoon masses at the hospital, General Hospital Peltier, at the age of 93 years. And the announcement of his death, the President of the Republic, Mohamed Gelle, has addressed a message of conduct to the family of defeat, condolence to the family of defeat, and wishing that the powerful one shows her in his eternal paradise. Ali Assowi, who leaves behind a widow and 9 children and 25 small children, was born in 1925 to where it was contractors of public work at the retirement and was appearing the great notables country. It was very appreciated for the generosity and its works of charity for the benefit of the orphan and the people who has always protected. And we have a white march organized this Sundays in Ali Sabih region at the initiative of the First Lady and President of UNFD in tribute to Mahado Daher Shire, 16 years, brutally murdered a week ago. Member of the government, UNFD fathers and mothers, teachers, and especially hundreds of high school students were at the rendezvous to denounce with one voice this unprecedented act of barbarism in the region. The marches started at the entrance of the city. It was dressed all white t-shirts on which we could read "Justice for Mahado." That the participant, and in particular the high school students, chanted at the same times on all the courses of the march. For the organizers, more than a tribute and their expressions of solidarity, it was above all a matter of sounding the alarm on what happened and never saying that again. The white march marks their determination also of the Asajok to know the truth of these tragic cases, as evidenced by the exceptional mobilization during this demonstration of the many mothers and elders of the Al Sabih region. On their banners were marked messages like Al Sabih notables say, "Do not act of barbarism against for children, our culture and our religion." The marches ended in front of the prefecture, where a huge gathering of all the participants took place. Stakeholders from the government and civil society have come forward to denounce the savage act the first and reassures the public that the light will be shed on these affairs. Among the speakers, Sheikh Abdullahi, who moved everyone in a short preaching against violence in general, and especially that an unspeakable atrocity which was victim Mahado Daher Shire. The Minister of Labour, Idris Hassan Samri, expresses his condolence to the families, friends, and of the late Mahado. He said this intolerable act who must be condemned for all. And for his part, the Ministers of Muslim Affairs and Waqf, Momin Hassan Barre said that this act will be faced for the security forces, and the authors of this crime will be in justice and imprisoned soon. For his part, the Minister of Communication Abdi Yusuf Sugi expresses his wish to see put end of this act of barbaric sin. This is unacceptable, he said. There are no who take silent and this kind of crimes. We are all today at the side of the late Mahado Daher, he said. We have here a little magazine concerning the descriptions of this event. Magazines of Mahado Daher Shire, young schoolgirls who killed savagely in the Ali Sabah region in the night of 24 September. Listen to this report. Monday, September 24, it is almost 4 p.m.
Lundi 24 septembre, il fait presque 16 heures quand un corps sans vie est découvert ici, sur un terrain vague derrière l'hôpital régional d'Ali Sabah. La découverte est macabre. Le corps d'une jeune fille violée, ligotée, lacéré, une violence rare. Le corps est identifié. Il s'agit de Mahado Daher, un jeune lycéen disparu depuis 12 ans. L'information circule rapidement parmi les assaillants et sur les réseaux sociaux. C'est la consternation, le choc total. Dans le voisinage de la défunte, dans les quartiers dits Château d'eau, la peur s'est emparée des habitants.
Under the high patronage of the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the Academy of the National Police Idris Farah Habbani is located in Nagat, hosted this morning the ceremony of the official launch of the first promotions of the initial training of officer. This ceremony that was presented by the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed began in the presence of the General Director of National Police, Colonel Abdullah Abdi Farah, and the Head of State General Majors, General Forces of the Egyptian Army, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, the representative of the World Organizations of Migration. Our officials, these officials launch ceremony of the first promotion of the initial officer training also views the participation of several officers and UN officers from the National Police and many guests. Moreover, these trainings consist of first of all the National Police, and it is the trainings for the first promotion of the officer of the National Police that has begun in the Academy of the National Police, Idris Farah Habbani. This officers training will be ensured for the first time by the Egyptian police trainers, and with the training in great schools of friendly country, specific training that consists of the trainings of trainer, recalling that in the past the officers were formed abroad with a restricted number to no one of two officers. May thanks to many efforts from the Directorate General of the National Police, this training will allow to train locally 13 officers per year. For his part, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed took the phone and said the first promotions of the initial trainings of officers, he indicated that its trainings will produce and transmit this know-how to young officers who will begin this training that will begin over a period and 1 year or more. This training for the first promotion involved is for the first time. This time is a number of police of 13 who will acquire knowledge related to their work, to know the household and the commandment and the judicial investigation. Concerning the National Commissions for Human Rights, in close collaboration with the French-speaking associations of National Commission for Human Rights and United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, held a workshop this morning capacity of the new member of National Commission for Human Rights and Civil Society at the Diplomatic Institute. During this workshop that will last 3 days, several teams as rich and varied will be present and explained to the participants by a panel of eminent personalities, including law specialists but also experts in the field. The objective of this workshop is a mass in the framework of a promotion of the protection of the human rights, the elaborations of the periodic and alternative reports with the organs of the treaties, the elaborations of the rules of procedure of the CNDH, as well as that the implementation of the decree implementing the law of the organization and functioning the CNDH, all this to enable the National Human Rights Commission to carry out its mission of protector and defender of human rights, and to equip them with the different concept of human rights. Participants in this workshop exchanged on the principles, the country's national human rights policy and the goals of sustainable development. For his part, the Minister of Justice Momin Ahmed Sheikh said this is to enable the National Human Rights Commission to carry out its missions to protect and defend human rights and to equip them with a different concept of human rights. Participants in this workshop exchanged for the path, principles, the country's national human rights policy and the goals of sustainable development. For his part, the President of National Commission, Mr. Sullivan Omar Udin, during his opening remarks, asked to observe a minute of silence the despicable and despicable act to commit against Mahado Daher in Ali Sabah region. Still in the discourse, he said that the objectives of this workshop is to allow a progressive approach that concerns all members, including civil society, to enable them to fully play their role of defense of the right and freedom of the human rights in their country, in African and global spaces. The writing examinations of the recruitment contest for the teachers and assistant professors of MIFOP for the autumns of 2018-2019 start today on the main site of the State High School of Djibouti and Bulaus and CFE. This year, some 2,063 candidates are taking part in these competitions to fill the 315 positions of teacher and trainers open to recruitment in 24 disciplines ranging from general education to technical education and vocational training. After this writing test, the first deliberations will be effective from Monday, 8 October 2018. Then the second group of the oral tests this time will take place in the days of Wednesday and Thursday, 10 and 11 October. The proclamations of the final results will take place on Sunday, October 14, 2018. As usual, the delegation led by the General Secretary of the MINFOB and Mr. Mohammed Abdallah Mahyoub and his counterpart of the Ministry of Labor in charge of the reform of administration, Mr. Abdallah Ali Mohammed, went successively to the CFF 10 then State High School before stopping at the Middle School of Bulaus. During this trip, officials from the Ministry and National Education and Labor visit the competitions, all to ensure that the writing tests of the competition ran smoothly, and spoke at length with the heads of the center. They were able to note that the event were taking place in the best condition and without the least hindrances. The General Secretary of the Ministry of Labor, Mr. Abdallah Muhammad Ali, said concerning the tests, who is fuel import for the national territory, he was pleased with the good conduct of the writing tests of the competition recruitment of teacher education. He recalled that this as usual competition jointly organized by MINFOB and the Labor Minister. He said that he is satisfied with the system deployed to ensure the serenity and the smooth turnings of this event. We have and the National Anti-Corruption Commission held in the premises of the Ministry of Equipment Transport a working meeting on the process of the declarations of heritage and senior officials of the Ministry of Interior At this meeting was the General Secretary, Mr. Siraj Omar Abdul Qadir, and all of these directors and senior executive, the team of the National Anti-Corruption Commission headed by the Director of Investigations and Asset Declaration, Mr. Hamza Abdi Aden, present the main point of discussions concerning declarations of asset, the Directorate of Investigation and declarations of inheritance, present the various missions of Commission as well as the modalities and contents of process declarations of the inheritance. This declaration is aimed at all senior civil servants as well as anyone with a national and local mandate. It covers the inventory of movable and immovable property in the national territory and abroad, including the declarant subject and owners as well as those belonging to his spouses and minor children. The Director of the Investigations and the Declaration Inheritance, Mr. Hamza Abdi Aden, specified that the Commission has proceeded to the declaration of the inheritance of 16 ministry and 850 senior executive and plan to finish the declarations of inheritance of the ministry remaining before the end of this year. He also declared that the missions of declaration of wealth is intended to contribute to the promotion of good governance, strengthen trust between citizens and administrators, and finally to ensure good management of public funds. In September 26, 2018, around 3 p.m., actions of intelligence to Pekatreva's North Brigade gendarmes moved to the neighborhood commonly known as Chebelle City, located at Pekatrev 613. On the spot, gendarmes proceeded to the interpellations of a Chinese national who installed a desalination machine of tape waters in-house exclusively rented for this clandestine trade, and this since the month of July 2018. During the search, the gendarme discovered in the house 14 bottles of water ready to be sold. The person in question supplied his compatriot with mineral waters to prevent them from buying the local water mark without worrying about basic rules of hygiene. In this hearing, the Chinese national admit that he produced 14 bottles of 13 liters per day and sold them at the rate of 800 per unit and the net profit of 1 million francs. He has no writings of verbal authorization from the competent health authority. He was placed in custody and brought to justice for his action. Moreover, the High Command and the Gendarmerie informed the population that the gendarmes will spare to for date and might to deal with the kind of trafficking which seriously affect the economy of the country and the health of this inhabitant. And we have a search notice concerning the lunches of the family of Mr. Omar Roble Okiye. Mr. Omar Roble Okiye had no fixed address and lived with his large family Barbara since the beginning of September. His family has no news and is desperate for it. Mr. Omar Roble has a mental disability, and any person who has seen and crosses him asked to bring him back to the nearest police stations and call him for the family to the 778-590-51. The family thanks you for the support in finding Mr. Omar Roble. And concerning the international scenes, a 40 hours curfew was imposed in most cities in Cameroon's 2 English-speaking regions on the eve of Monday's celebration of the first anniversary of the symbolic proclamation of the independence of English-speaking Cameroon.
Cameroon imposed a 48-hour curfew on the English-speaking region a day ahead of the 1-year anniversary of a symbolic independence declaration by Anglophone separatists, officials say on Sunday. The anniversary Monday will kick off a critical week for the country, which heads to polls next Sunday to vote an election that Anglophone secessionists have threatening to disturb. According to a directive issued by district officials, which was seen by AFP, all shops and bars will be closed throughout Sunday and Monday. The order also affected all cultural, social and sporting activities, as well as public and private forms of transport. The 2 days curfew also affected the southwestern coastal town of Lempe and Tico.
This is it for tonight news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.